1. A different kind of retirement. When my husband retired a few years ago, I pictured myself sitting in the Howdy-Doody peanut gallery, watching as the events unfolded. Yes, I grew up watching Howdy-Doody on our black and white television. Now I watched from the gallery as Bob went through the difficult discernment process about the timing of his retirement. Then I watched as he grieved the loss of daily contact with colleagues and the personal validation that his job responsibilities gave to him. I watched him throw away the notes from hundreds of talks he would never give again. I watched as he faced his fear that the only excitement in the future might be on the golf course. The view from my peanut gallery was not howdy-doody happy. But I thought I didn't need to worry about retirement for myself. Because I had no regular job to retire from, I told myself that I was not retiring. I was a mother, an author, and a spiritual director. All jobs that would change as I aged, but not through traditional retirement. I thought I was all set to go. Only I wasn't. All of us, as we age, retire. We retire not just from jobs, but from relationships, ways of thinking, and how we think about ourselves. We move on. We no longer find validation in activities and tasks that have been important to us for decades. We can no longer do the things we used to do. The next generation is doing those things better than we can. To become older, then, means we retire whether we're getting paid for our work or not. Retirement, whatever form it takes, is often our first step through the door with a sign above it, "Old age straight ahead." If we notice the sign, we may cringe. We probably think we can handle retirement. But old age? Most of us don't even like the term, let alone what it means for us. Who put that sign there, and what does it mean? For some, the step through the door is a defined moment, the transition away from employment, learning to live in the empty nest, an unexpected illness, the death of a parent, or the loss of a spouse. Others of us recognize the door only as we look back. We realize that gradual losses have built up in recent years. Family dynamics have changed, and we are not getting as many calls for professional input. Whether the step through the door is clear or not, it is always a step into liminal space. Stepping into mystery. Liminal space is the unknown place between where we are and where we will be. It is a place that is mysterious, vague, exciting, and scary, all wrapped up into something new and unformed. It is moving to where we have never been before. The Old Testament book of Exodus describes the Israelites in liminal space as they left their familiar, if stressful, life in Egypt to follow Moses into a new land. Never mind that God said this was a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, see Exodus chapter 3, verse 8. The Israelites responded as most of us do when we enter an unknown season of life. When they ran into trouble, they complained, whined, and resisted. Exodus chapter 14, verse 11 says, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die?" As we move from the familiar stresses of midlife to the unknown stresses of the aging process, we too may object, resist, and complain. God might lead us by a long, circuitous route as he did the Israelites. Perhaps by God's grace we might come to a promised land. But first we need to go through liminal space. And we all respond differently to walking into that liminal space. My friend George is a high-energy person. His first question in retirement was, "Now what exciting things can I do?" Other friends are paralyzed by retirement. What will I do now? Who am I now that I do not have a job description? Where is my family now that I need them? These questions do not have quick or easy answers, especially if we are looking for answers that have a spiritual perspective. Blossoming trees. As my husband and I entered retirement and our senior years, one of the places we found perspective was in looking at the flowering pear tree outside Bob's study window. It had always been the last tree in the yard to shed its leaves in the fall.